Are you living the divine life? Many of us are not, and there just might be a few things keeping us from this. Welcome to Living a Sacred Life with Dr. Raymont Anderson. In our program, you'll learn to use the tools that have been given to you to make changes that you need, and by doing so, come one step closer to living that divine life. Now, here is your host, Rev Dr Raymont Anderson.
So first of all, I need to third that amendment that the view from up here is amazing. I think one Sunday everybody should take turns and come up here and see this, so you get the full effect. So, how many of you were here way back when I spoke about the Tea Master, the lesson of the Tea Master? Okay, so you remember the whole thing I talked about, the sword and whatnot, and you know that you are a master and whatever. So, and I hope it's okay. And I am skilled, so I don't want you to get afraid. But I brought one of my most prized and valued weapons that I have at the house. And oh, calm down. Calm down. Don't be shocked. It's okay. Do you recognize this? Other than Gary, because Gary is a trained martial arts master, so I know he recognizes a weapon when he sees one. But for the rest of you, do you recognize this? Do you realize that this thing has made families crash and broken up friendships by this simple thing called spin the bottle? This simple thing that says, step, truth or dare. Choose wisely, lest our friendship be destroyed. Why do I even bring this up? Because did he just bring a Coke? So, see, you just leave weapons laying around. She says she has one in the kit. Just leaving weapons laying around. So, a couple of days ago, I'm sitting having brunch with a fellow wolf of mine, Rich. And somewhere in our brunch, he challenges me. He hurls the gauntlet. I dare you. I'm up for a good dare. You know, being the martial artist that I am, I'm up for a good dare. What are you challenging me to, my friend? He challenged me to write a book. Now, as if I'm not already in the process of writing two others, but he challenges me to write a book. And without going into a lot of details, I marinate on it, and I accept the challenge. But it made me start thinking about, why am I here? No, seriously, like, why am I, any theater folks here? You know, acting, you do acting or have done acting. You know how we have this whole concept of, probably. You know how we're told by the director to choose our operative words. And we say, why am I here? And for those who remember my story, my why am I here used to be based on victim consciousness, based on, why am I here? That's where it used to be. And then it turned into, why? Why am I here? And then it turned into, why am I here? And then it turned into, why am I here? Same sentence, but depending on where we put the emphasis, it completely changes the meaning for us. So it's not about the question in and of itself. It's about the quality of the question that we ask. So I started asking myself questions. Why am I here? And as I look back and I see all of these various struggles and obstacles and whatever it is that we call them, it's because every so often this thing called life shows up and says, I challenge you. I challenge you to be something other than what you think you are. I challenge you to Be greater than you want to believe you can be. I challenge you to change your name. Now, anybody here know this? There's this woman by the name of Emma. Or you need her full name, Emma Curtis Hopkins. Thought we were on a first name basis. So Emma Curtis Hopkins, in her book, High Mysticism, she says, the rulers of the Jews in Jerusalem, Annas the high priest, and Caiaphas, and John, and Alexander, and many that were kindred of the high priest, knew well the Magian power contained in certain names, and they asked, by what name have you wrought this miracle? To which the apostles answered, by the name of Jesus Christ. By the name of. Anybody in here see The Lion King? Remember the whole Simba roots? It's this whole concept of taking your offspring and raising it up and naming it. And a name, the purpose of that naming ceremony was you were embodying certain qualities, traits, and characteristics through the name that you gave your child. I'm naming my child Faith. I'm naming my child Raymont. My parents' name Raymont means one who is mighty and strong, a fortress to whom people can come to for protection. Still working on that one. Still working on that one. But the whole purpose of that was a name is your nature. If you think about, we have animals, we have dogs. But a dog, the Latin is canine. So we call it dog. But it has a Latin name that goes back to the nature of the thing itself. Each and every one of us has a name. And I'm not just talking about that thing that's on your birth certificate. I'm talking about your name as in your nature. And part of that name is the Yod He Vav He, the I am that I am. That is your name. What was the song that we just sung? You are it. That is who and what you are. But all too often, we don't accept the challenge. We don't accept the dare. We don't accept the I am great, I am good, I am amazing. We don't accept it. We play small. Because small is easier. There's this gentleman, Charles. Okay, because I was going to pack up and leave. But I needed to go through his. You didn't know Emma at first, so. You mean Emma that lived down the street? No, different Emma. Charles Fillmore said, when he was approximately 94, that I sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm to do what is mine to do. And I'm paraphrasing. I'll read the exact quote for those who want. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. He said that when he was 94. 94. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm to do what I ought to do. And so many of us prefer to, I'm going to choose to marinate today. Going to go slow simmer. We choose not to sizzle. Why not? Why do we not choose to carpe diem? To seize the day for everything that it has for us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because in truth, we know, Yeah, on the surface, we know the good, the bad, and the ugly. I hear Clint Eastwood playing in the background. Because it's easy. It's easy to good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, referencing the book that I was challenged to write, it has to deal with certain levels of racism. And being me, I have this interesting little dance thing that I do sometimes, all on my own because I don't like dancing in public, but I do this little interesting dancing thing where, did you just laugh at my dance step? Where I will take whatever the thing is, the issue. So we'll say for right now, racism. How can I talk about this without talking about it the way that it is normally talked about? Because if I continue to talk about it the way that it's talked about, then I continue to send energy into it. Please forgive me for this. I'm going to put this out there right now. Please forgive me. If you're in a tight little area with a close group of friends, and I'm going to blame this on Granddad because my grandfather used to do this, and he breaks wind in the corner, do you not smell it over in your corner? It can't happen in isolation. It's energy. How can I think that by me sitting at home, cursing at the television, throwing shoes at the PC, because I'm angry at whatever I'm angry about, that it's happening in isolation in my bedroom? The anger that I feel is vibrating through the walls. Maya Angelou said that when you come into my house, you will not curse. You will not speak certain things because words are energy. They get into the walls. They get into the carpet. And I don't want that in my home. So how can I think that by me sitting at home, and I sort of look like that, that is not going into the very walls. And then to the neighbors. Because if I sit in the house and I yell loud enough, the neighbors can hear me. God only knows they hear me laugh. So I know that if I get angry, they hear it. So how can I think that just because it's a whisper, that energy is still not permeating and going out and through and throughout? We know that what we talk about is energy. God is energy, source is energy, spirit is energy. You are energy because you are it. So if I allow myself to indulge in that energy, then am I not also part of the problem? So I do that little interesting dancey thing, trying to figure out how can I talk about it without talking about it. And I think that's where all of us are to a certain degree. How do I talk about the problems without continuing to make them problems? Because if I'm in a relationship and I talk about, she made me mad, that's bad. Yeah, we're in a relationship right now, just play with me. She made me mad. She made me mad. You say that all the time. It's always, I'm sorry. It's always that. It's enough. If we're having an issue, how do we resolve the issue if it's always the issue that we're talking about? At some point, that thing that is the thing has to not be the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, that's the dance that we all need to learn. So 1, 2, 3, whatever, do your own dance. But that's what we're all being challenged to do, is to say, this is what's showing up in my life. Whatever this is, whatever it is that's holding you back from being as great and as good as you possibly could be. Every single one of us is here for a reason. There is no by accident, there is no by mistake. It can't be. So you're here to do something, and to do something greatly. Remember the Reverend Martin Luther King quote, that whatever it is you are going to do, whether it is sweeping streets or whatever, then be the best at it that you're going to be. So if that's what you're called to be, I'm called to be a chef. I'm called to be an amazing musician. I'm called to be whatever it is that I'm called to be. Then be it all out. Because the money, because we say, I've said it, I really want to do that, I want to do that, but I need to do this to get paid. No. Because then I'm literally sacrificing my soul, sacrificing my life in pursuit of this thing, that issue called money, when money's not the thing. My belief that it is the thing makes it the thing. And my belief that it is not enoughness continues to make it the not enoughness. Follow your heart, always. And I'm not talking about that syrupy, no, I'm not talking about that thing.
What was that?
That's the syrupy.
Oh.
But thank you. I need the synonym. The lovey-dovey, if I ever see Tom Cruise, you are whole, perfect, and complete right now, right where you are. You are complimented by, you ever have cake that the cake is so good it doesn't need icing? Wow. The icing complements the cake. Why don't we live our lives like that? All out. 177% full speed ahead. Trusting our heart, because our heart, that intuition, that guiding principle, that still small voice that says, I'm right here. I've never left you. I never can. I never left you, I never can. I never left you, I never can, because you and I are one. You're it. But we play small. We backtrack. There's a story in Kings where this widow needs money. And she goes to Elisha and she's like, dude, look, I ain't got no money. I need to feed folks and stuff. And he says, look, get as many containers as you can and take this, and as long as you keep filling. So she goes and she gathers containers from all over the place. And she starts pouring, and this little thing keeps pouring and keeps pouring. She gets to the last container, and just as she fills the last container, it stops. If she would have had 35, she had enough oil for 35. If she would have had 335, she would have had enough oil for 335. If she would have had 4,000, she would have had enough oil for 4,000. Because it stopped when she was no longer able to receive. We block our ability to be filled beyond. To be filled to the point where our cup runneth over and we drink from the saucer. Because it's overflowing so much. Because we don't allow ourselves to go there. Because how dare you be great? How dare you be beautiful? How dare you be whatever it is that you choose to be, that you want to be? How dare you follow your passion rather than, you need to get a job. What do you mean you want to do this artsy thing? You, young lady, you will not do art. You need a vocation. You need a job. So we get a job and we work. And we work. And the more we work at a job that we don't like, the more we slowly die. Because what that's doing is, God is saying, Source is saying, wow, this is nice. I like this body. This is cool. Oh man, I gotta go. And the energy starts to shrivel and shrink. And Source is saying, I showed up as you to be a singer. I showed up as you to do great things, to move mountains. What are you doing? are you wasting your gifts? Why are you living life as a caterpillar when it's been time for you to fly 10 years ago? The wings are trying to break through, and you're still saying, no, because if I start flying, my friends won't like me anymore. If I start flying, my family will reject me. If I start flying, I'll have to go play. I'm used to this branch. I've been crawling on this branch and on this tree for longer than you've been alive, boy. I know this branch. I know every nook and cranny of this branch. Hey, Mr. Squirrel, how you doing? He just moved in, did you know? I know everything about that branch and that tree. But if I fly, I have to fly to other trees, in other neighborhoods, and meet other squirrels and deer and whoever else I'm going to meet. And that scares the bejesus out of me. Did you not see me just? She said, what is bejesus? Anybody else got a synonym for that? Because I can't help this young lady. So, moving on. It scares the bejesus out. We let it scare the very life essence out of it. And the funny thing is, it can't go. That's the funny thing is, it really can't vanish, separate itself from us. But what we're doing is, we're ignoring it. We don't tap into it. This building has electricity, but if we don't plug into it, if we choose to ignore it, then we can sit and sulk in the dark for however long we choose to sit and sulk in the dark, rather than just plug the lamp in, plug the lamp in. The electricity's there, plug the lamp in. But we don't. We don't plug in, and we gripe and complain. I'm tired of sitting in the dark. I don't like being in the dark. Then put the lamp in. I don't want it to, the electric bill goes up, and I don't want. So no matter what you do, there's no satisfying because you're scared. You're scared to be illuminated, to shine as brightly as you can. Because you know that the moment you shine, like moths to a flame, they're going to come. Well, to whom much is given. But what if I don't have it to give? But you do. We're told that Jesus said, how many people are out there? Oh, wow, that's a big crowd. You bring some crackers and some fish. And now, to the fish, souffle, go and fed all these folks. So whatever it is that you need, the moment you need it, it shows up. If you really think about your own life, blinders off. Was there ever a time when I thought, and I let it go, and I just breathe? And it showed up. And then we say things like, wow, how synchronistic. Ding, ding, ding. Serendipity. Ding, ding, ding. Wow, that was a coincidence. Ding, ding, wrong. It was not a coincidence. It was not synchronicity, serendipity. Not the way we normally refer to it, because we refer to it as it's some magical, mystical thing out there. Versus that is source saying, right here, right now, by divine appointment, you want to do art? He's an art director. What are the odds that we would both show up right here, right now, and my best friend knows him and knows me and introduces? It always happens that way when we get out of our way. Music. If I were to ask Abby, where does music, or Gary, where does music, or any other musician in here, where does music come from? It comes from somewhere that you can't show me. So many things. Where's it come from? Show me where it comes from. And we can do this. Come to me. And if I say, okay, then if I were to go get a knife, cut it open, then I should see Beethoven pop up and say, hey, Ray, what's up? What you looking for? I should see, because he's telling me that's where it comes from. But heart as a symbol. As a symbol. Because music comes from here. I saw those who pointed here. Remember what I said before? Trust your heart. Music comes from your heart. Your path comes from your heart. Inspiration comes from your inspiration in spirit. The source, God, in you, as you, with you, moving through you and throughout all of creation. When we take a step back and just, I accept the dare. I accept the challenge. I accept, universe, wherever, whatever you are, I accept your challenge for me to be as good and as great as I possibly can be. Because I've got a book in me I've got a series of books waiting to be written, then write them. I've got a symphony I've got an opus waiting to be composed, then compose it. I've got a school I want to create for children where there is no concept of no child left behind, because I don't even want that in my consciousness. Then create it. I've got a TV show, then produce it. Whatever that thing is, that if I said I will right now write you a check for $10 billion to follow your passion, whatever that thing is that pops up, if money was not an issue, fear was not an issue, obstacles don't exist, what would I do? I challenge you to do it.
There you go. Yeah.